In this tutorial, I will show you how to configure the legend columns on trend charts and data log views. These legend column configurations can also be set up in design mode when designing a tool. First, I will show you how to change the column width. By hovering over the column separator, you can see that the mouse cursor changes to a double arrow. Click and drag the mouse to the desired width. Column order can also be set. Click and drag on the column header to move the column. You can see that as I drag the column, the target position of the column shows as a bold column separator line. Release the mouse to drop the column in the desired location. Columns can be hidden from view. To do this, right-click the mouse on any column header. A drop-down list of columns shows a checkmark next to the visible columns. Clicking on the column to hide unchecks it from the list and hides the column. Also in the drop-down is the ability to set as default and restore default. Set as default will save the current legend configuration as the default, to be used by all future trend charts. Clicking the Restore Defaults item will set the columns to the ToolKit default position, width and visibility. The default column configuration can also be set in the Tools/Options dialog under the Data Log/Trending tab. Click the Modify button to show the Plot Legend configuration dialog. This dialog allows you to set the legend configuration for both the trend chart and the datalog viewer legends. The column configuration can be changed in the same way as on the actual chart legend. This becomes the new default configuration. Now if I restore defaults, you can see that the new defaults get applied. I can also set the defaults from the column header drop-down, without going into the Plot Legend configuration dialog. To do this, I will configure the legend columns as desired, and then select the Set as Default item. Now we can see how that affects the Plot Legend configuration dialog. From the Plot Legend configuration dialog, clicking on the Restore Defaults restores the columns to the ToolKit default positions, size and visibility. Now you can see that the columns are back to the original defaults. I will set the trend chart back to defaults and show how the changes to the chart legend are synchronized with the trend tear-off window. After turning off a trend chart from an embedded chart, you can see that changes that are made to the trend chart tear-off window are reflected on the embedded trend chart. Likewise, changes made to the trend chart are reflected on the tear-off window. Legend configurations are not affected by changing the trend chart configuration. This allows you to use the same legend configuration across all your trend chart configurations. To demonstrate this, I will change a column width. Then I will change the trend configuration to the blue configuration that I have set up. You can see that the plot legend remained unchanged. I can change to any other trend chart configuration and the legend will remain unchanged. Even if I go back to the default trend chart configuration. Plot legend configurations can be uniquely applied to each embedded trend chart in a tool. To show this, I will add 2 charts to this tool. If I change a column in one chart, the other chart is not affected. If I want to apply the change to the other chart, I can do this by setting the first chart's legend configuration as the default. Then apply the defaults to the second chart. Now that new default will be applied to any other trend chart that is added to the tool. After creating a new trend chart, you can see that the defaults got applied. Legend column changes made to embedded trend charts in run mode are not saved in the tool. If I close the tool and reopen it, you can see the legend goes back to the way it was designed. If I want to save the legend configurations as part of the tool, I must make the changes in design mode. You can see there is a new property on the trend chart called Plot Legend Configuration. Clicking on the Edit button opens the Plot Legend Configuration dialog. I can use this dialog to customize the legend for this trend chart only. I will save and close the tool. After reopening the tool, you can see the legend changes persisted as the Show column is hidden. So far I have shown how the trend chart legend can be configured. The Datalog Viewer legend can also be configured in the same way. If I open the Plot Legend Configuration dialog, you can see the Datalog Plot Legend configuration. I will make a small change to it and open a new Datalog Viewer. You can see that the legend is configured based on the default that I just set. Like the trend chart plot legend, I can configure the Datalog legend and set it as the default from the Datalog Viewer. Now, I will open a new Datalog Viewer. Notice that the new default configuration is shown. I will make changes, then restore the defaults. You can see the defaults were applied. This concludes the tutorial on plot legend configurations. Thanks for watching.